we're continuing our countdown of the 100 best basic magic items in D&D 5th edition. Now to magical item number 90, Restorative Ointment. This uncommon magic item is ridiculously good at low levels, especially if you have very limited healing inside of a party. With up to 5 doses, the Restorative Ointment heals 2d8 plus 2 hit points, cures any poison, and cures any disease. Its two downsides is that it's an action to use, and it can be very limited. However, being an uncommon item, you're going to be seeing this Restorative Ointment often. Characters between 1st and 3rd level benefit from this item heavily. That's because its 2d8 plus 2 healing is enough to keep you in a fight at those low levels. Usually healing suffers from a big problem in D&D, where you heal but it's just not enough. The healing is outdone very quickly. And then you have to ask yourself, well, why did I heal? Is there something better I could have done with my turn? With the ability to heal a whopping 18 hit points, the Restorative Ointment has explosive potential. While it is limited in the number of times it can heal, the Restorative Ointment is so good for low-level parties that I have to give it the 90th spot. Now we have another favorite of low-level parties coming up at spot 89, the Broom of Flying. And what can I say about this item that hasn't already been said? It's a flying broom. You get to roleplay as a witch. The aesthetic is there. The ability to fly at 50 feet a turn is there. Or 30 feet a turn if you're fat. And the sneakily good ability to send the broom within 1 mile of you to a destination on its own. Your broom can act as its own little messenger pigeon. You just tie a note to the broom and you send it to your destination. And then it returns to you once it's done. The Broom of Flying is an absolutely fantastic magic item. However, it's a bit bulky and there are better flying magic items out there. We might even see 1 or 2 coming up. But whatever the case, the ability to fly opens up so many creative avenues in D&D 5th edition that I would be remiss not to have the Broom of Flying here at spot 89. And next up we have the Mace of Smiting. And this is probably one of the better Bane weapons in the game. And what do I mean by a Bane weapon? Well, it's a weapon that works particularly well against a certain type of creature, like undead, fiends, or in this case, constructs. This weapon becomes a +3 when you're attacking a construct, or a +1 weapon any other time. When you roll a 20 while attacking with this weapon, it does an additional 7 damage, or 14 when you're attacking a construct, and it destroys constructs if it has 25 hit points or fewer. And it has the ability to one-shot a construct on a natural 20, if it has 25 hit points or fewer. And that is actually most constructs. Many different classes can make use of the Mace of Smiting. Fighters, barbarians, clerics, you name it. And constructs are actually one of the most common creatures we see in written adventures. Animated armors, flying swords, rugs of smothering. All of these things are considered constructs, and it's more than likely if you get a critical hit with this weapon, you instantly destroy them. This weapon is so good because you are vastly more likely to fight a construct more than once in a campaign than not. And since this weapon provides worthwhile benefits even when you're not fighting a construct, it comes in here strongly at spot 88. And coming up next at spot 87 is probably one of the most underrated items in all of D&D 5th edition. I actually really struggled figuring out where to put this item, because in some campaigns, it's probably a top 30 item. In other campaigns and with other groups, you're gonna struggle a bit. It might not have the impact that you want. So I decided to put this item at its floor. I don't think that in any campaign group, no matter how you're using it, that you could put this item below the 87th place. I want this item above a Headband of Intellect. I want it above the Boots of Elvenkind. I want it above 10 healing potions. What I want, dear viewer, is the Ring of Mind Shielding. This item has 3 effects that are very good. Firstly, you can hide it and you can make it invisible so no one even knows that you have it on. Secondly, you can prevent things from reading your mind. But not only that, magic can't know if you're lying, it can't know your alignment, it can't know anything about you. You stop all telepathic communication unless you allow it. In political intrigue campaigns or campaigns where you are fighting things with psychic abilities, the Ring of Mind Shielding is a game changer. And it also allows you to get around the annoying little spell, Zone of Truth. With the Ring of Mind Shielding, you can lie under a Zone of Truth. And I have to say, one of my favorite combinations is having a character cast Zone of Truth, allowing the effects to wash over my character, and then just lying my ass off. Characters think because it's a Zone of Truth that you couldn't possibly be lying. But I've checked, and yes, the Ring of Mind Shielding allows you to do this. But also, if all that wasn't good enough, the Ring of Mind Shielding keeps your soul when you die. Meaning that if you die, you don't need to directly go to the afterlife. You can be stuck inside that ring. And that allows you a lot of options in case, let's say, your character needs to be revived. While your body might be rotten and gone, the Ring of Mind Shielding protects your mind and allows it to stay there until you are perhaps able to find another host body, or maybe a construct is built for you. There are many options, but the Ring of Mind Shielding provides all of them. And I am not kidding when I seriously wrestled with putting this item far, far higher. But again, not all campaigns are the same, so this is the item's absolute floor at spot 87. And coming up next is a simple item at spot 86, the Goggles of Night. It feels like almost every class in D&D 5th edition has dark vision, so if you are in a class without dark vision, things get difficult. By having the Goggles of Night, you just have dark vision, and it makes things so much easier for the player, the DM, just everybody. And because the Goggles of Night do not take up an attunement slot, you can just slip them over your head, no downsides. If you have a character without dark vision, there's no reason not to pick up the Goggles of Night. And for that reason, they come in comfortably at spot 86. And coming up next at spot 85 is an item that is limited again only by your creativity. It's the Decantur of Endless Water. Now obviously having endless water is really good in a lot of situations. If you're on a desert and have no access to water, the Decantur of Endless Water is literally a lifesaver. Its ability to act as a geyser also gives it some offensive capacity. It has the capacity to push a creature up to 15 feet away from you. That means smaller creatures next to a cliff or a window are in big trouble. I love watching a player activate the geyser function on this item and just pushing things all over the map. But also, the ability to create 30 gallons of water within 6 seconds is a lot of water, especially when it is an infinite amount of water. Players can solve so many puzzles or fuck up so many villains' days just with a lot of water. I once had a group of players take their Decantur of Endless Water to the top floor of a villain's castle and then just start pumping water into the castle. Because when you can make 300 gallons of water a minute, you can flood a lot of things very quickly. And again, just having this versatility in a party is fantastic. Which is why the Decantur of Endless Water comes in at spot 85.
Hey everyone, before continuing with the video, I just want to give a shout out to the channel's affiliate and sponsor, Only Crits. Only Crits is an online store that specializes in dice sales and 5e adventure modules. They also carry in stock dice trays and other assorted D&D accessories. I personally love their spell scroll dice trays and their duck dice. I mean, look guys, they're ducks in dice. If that's not gonna sell you, I don't know what is. They also have other little small friends, like chickens or pandas. If you're looking for a fun one-shot, I'd recommend The Emperor's End, or if you're looking for a full adventure, I'd recommend The Mountain Killer. It's a short adventure only running from levels 4 to 6, but it packs a lot of epic adventure and mystery in those short 3 levels. And it's set up so that you can drag and drop this plot into your homebrew adventures really easily. I've got an affiliate link in the description below, and if you enter the code DUNGEON, you will get a discount on your order. If you want awesome dice, accessories, or adventure modules, check out my friends at Only Crits. And now, back to the video.
But coming up next at spot 84 is the Helm of Brilliance. The Helm of Brilliance has so many great effects. It gives you access to many great spells, the ability to detect undead, fire damage. Heck, you can even make your weapon a mini flame tongue weapon. The reason why the Helm of Brilliance is this low on the list is because of 2 reasons. Firstly, it is reliant on the gems on the helmet to activate. You might get a Helm of Brilliance with very few gems on it, and then, well, you're fresh out of luck. Now, you might get a Helm of Brilliance with a lot of gems on it, but eventually over the course of a campaign, that item is going to start to run out. However, its second Achilles heel is that when you take fire damage as a result of failing a spell roll, you roll a d20, and on a 1, this item explodes. Not only does it explode, but it does damage to everyone else around you. The ability for an item to just poof, go up in flames, that's a huge detriment. especially because fire damage is one of the most common damage types in 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. Depending on the campaign, you might be taking a lot of fire damage, and then, oh boy, you might be in for some trouble. Having this very rare, very powerful item just be destroyed kinda sucks. But the Helm of Brilliance is so good that it still makes spot 84 on the list. I take the Helm of Brilliance over a lot of other items, but I would not take the Helm of Brilliance over item number 83. And that item is the Winged Boots. The Winged Boots are again another favorite of a lot of D&D players. And I place the Winged Boots over the Broom of Flying for 2 reasons. Firstly, it's because the Winged Boots are a lot easier to conceal and use. And secondly, it's because the Winged Boots have a flying speed equal to your walking speed. Monks, barbarians, characters with the mobile feet, all of these characters benefit from their increased walking speed. And with this bit of text, you can accelerate your flying speed to absolutely astronomical levels. And trust me, if you have a monk with the mobile feat with the Winged Boots that has a flying speed of 80 feet a turn, yeah, you'll see why it's such a powerful item. It's a fun item, don't get me wrong, but it's a powerful one. Do I think the Winged Boots are game breaking? No, I don't think so. I think that if you just plan around a character with Winged Boots, like having characters with bows, crossbows, ranged options in general, you're going to be fine. But these boots are definitely powerful. They're better than the Broom of Flying, and they deserve spot 83 on the list. And next up on this list is the humble Staff of Healing. This staff might not look like a lot, but trust me, it's incredibly powerful. Able to be attuned to by a bard, cleric, or druid, the simple beauty of the Staff of Healing is that it provides healing spells without having to use one of the prepared spells or have something on your known spells list. Cure Wounds, Lesser Restoration, and more importantly, Mass Cure Wounds are all you ever gonna need. Yes, Healing Word is better than Cure Wounds, but being able to heal up fully after a combat without needing to burn your very valuable spell slots is, well, valuable. And Mass Cure Wounds is a freaking amazing spell, but it's a 5th level spell, and there are many great 5th level spells that you'll probably want to use that spell slot on. So having that as part of the Staff of Healing, having a free party revive essentially if the rest of the party is unconscious, is incredibly good. The Staff of Healing makes even the most ardent battle cleric or the most crazed moon druid the party's healer. And it does it without the player having to sacrifice anything about their overall character sheet. You just hand them this item and watch them go. And it's for this versatility and flexibility that I'm giving the Staff of Healing the 82nd spot on this list. And finally, at spot 81, we have the Helm of Telepathy. I'll just say it, being able to spam detect thoughts is fantastic. Because something that a lot of players don't understand is that the surface base level thoughts are accessible via the detect thoughts without any roll. You can just get the general emotions or intentions of creatures. It's an extremely powerful spell, and being able to cast it at will, that's crazy. And additionally, this helm allows you to use a bonus action to contact a creature and send a message to them. During intense negotiations, you are able to look at one of your party members and bonus action message them without talking out loud. That's an incredible tool in your tool belt, and it's not one that should be underrated in any way. There's also a low-level suggestion ability there, but the DC is only 13, so you're not going to be able to get it off very often. However, the infinite detect thoughts makes up for it. If you give this item to the right player with the right mindset, they are going to be able to go absolutely nuts in your campaign. And here's the thing, as a DM, you'll also be able to provide them with a lot of information. Because when you know that Detect Thoughts is basically going to be applied constantly, you're able to dispense a lot of free information. You're able to tell how an NPC's thinking, general baseline thoughts. This is particularly great in a mystery campaign as well. It helps unlock a lot of clues during interrogation scenes. And if you want to learn just a little bit more about running mystery campaigns, I suggest checking out this video right here. And if you're liking this series, I highly encourage you to subscribe. It really helps the channel. And thank you for entering the dungeon.